Greetings, how are you guys? I hope you guys are well. I hope you are rolling in 2024, guys. I hope you are rolling in. It's a year that is packed. It's fully packed year. Possibilities, tribulations. There's a lot going on. But on my side, I'm well, guys. I hope you guys are doing well, guys. Okay, guys, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you very much, guys, for subscribing. Those who have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, guys. The benefit of subscribing, guys, is this, that each time I publish a new video, then you get notified. You're able to engage, to watch the video, engage, and yeah, give me your opinions, guys. Okay, guys, today I want us to deal with the constructive dismissal, the issue of constructive dismissal. It's a burning issue, guys. So I want us to deal with that matter, guys. Okay, guys. What is a constructive dismissal? Actually, what are we talking about when we talk about the constructive dismissal, guys? Okay. One of the major challenges confronting the South African workplace is the toxic working environment, which makes work intolerable for those who are at the receiving end of the terrible treatment. I think many people who are aware of this, they can attest to this, the toxic work environment. In majority, if not of all these cases, it is the workers who are at the receiving end of this treatment from their superiors. This comes in a form of bullying by the superiors, who at times will take out their frustrations on the subordinates. Such kind of a toxic environment has led to a sizable number of workers being diagnosed with mental health related challenges, which has forced them into taking medication just so as to maintain their sanity. It is quite unfortunate that not much is being said about this kind of abuse that workers suffer in their different workplaces. Some have opted to leave their jobs for the sake of their mental health. We have to ask ourselves a pertinent question, that how many establishments, workplaces in South Africa have got policies in place? I mean clear policies in dealing with such matters to ensure that they create a conducive working environment. Because you must understand that if someone is a worker, they spend more hours at work than with their family. Now you can imagine the impact this has on their health, mental health as well. As indicated in the previous paragraph, that this has led to some of the workers resigning from work for the sake of their mental health. One would then ask, what is the recourse for those workers who have had to leave their jobs against their will, since they could not tolerate the toxic environment any longer? There are those who have resigned and then took their matters to the CCMA under the claim of constructive dismissal. This brings us to the crux of this piece. What is a constructive dismissal? Constructive dismissal is when an employee terminates the contract of employment with or without notice because the employer made continued employment intolerable for the employee. Right? Constructive dismissal is simply a form of dismissal and requires the employee to prove that there was a constructive dismissal before the employer must prove that the dismissal was fair. Right? Let me repeat that condition. Constructive dismissal is simply a form of dismissal and requires the employee to prove that there was a constructive dismissal before the employer must prove that the dismissal was fair. If the dismissal is found to be unfair, the employee is entitled to the remedies set out in the Labour Relations Act 55 of 1995 for unfair dismissals. Elements of a constructive dismissal. In order to prove that there was a constructive dismissal, an employee will have to prove on a balance of probabilities that 1. The contract of employment was terminated by the employee because the employer's conduct, and not, for instance, because the employee was planning to resign in any event. Let me repeat that. Number 1, the contract of employment was terminated by the employee because of the employer's conduct, and not, for instance, because the employee was planning to resign in any event. Number 2, the reason for the termination of the contract must be that continued employment has become intolerable for the employee Examples of intolerability could include sexual harassment, assault, or non-payment of remuneration by the employer. And 3, it must have been the employer of the employee who made the continued employment intolerable. Employees will struggle to prove constructive dismissal if they leave prior to going through a grievance procedure. This is very important, guys. Employees must utilize grievance procedures or complain to higher levels of management, provided that it is a reasonable option in the circumstances. For example, it may not be reasonable for an employee in a small business to lodge a grievance against an alleged sexual harasser if that person is her or his employer. The test for constructive dismissal is an objective one. The court have held that a key test is whether it is reasonable to conclude that the employer made continued employment intolerable for the employee. The intolerable situation may be one event or a number of events that have taken place over a period of time. Right. Referring constructive dismissal disputes to the CCMA. The employee may refer a dismissal dispute by completing the LRA 7.11 referral form within 30 days of the termination of the employment relationship. The employee could request reinstatement or compensation. Compensation up to 12 months remuneration may be awarded. The duty of proving dismissal rests with the employee, and that of justifying it rests with the employer. I hope guys have understood this, because like I've said, many people are confronted with this challenge of the toxic work environment that has really impacted their mental health and their families as well. So the people end up resigning. So you must understand, before you resign, you must go through the grievance procedure or grievance processes. Exhaust those before you can resign, so at least it can help you build up the case at the CCMA. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please do share this video, guys. Please do share on the different social media platforms. Let's spread this information, guys. Thank you very much, guys. Magukanye. Lesedi.